what is the key items that you need to look into when you are buying a commercial properties. My name is Somen Mondal, and in this video I am going to share with you that what is the key item, particularly one item that you need to be very careful or to be attending on while you are purchasing it. If you want to know, then stick around. Alright, so when you are buying a commercial property, depends on industrial, retail, office space, whatever be the property, you need to do what I call due diligence. In that due diligence, you need to look into that what you're buying and how much is the building area, what kind of tenant, lease, everything that you need to look into and come up with a conclusion, right? One item that is very important is what I call that the tenancy, right? Who is the tenant? And let me give you an example. Let's say if you are looking to buy a property, which is a standard shop, is Cheesecake Shop. Now in that Cheesecake Shop, think about what is the future of a cheesecake shop. People love cakes in this country and people will always be buying cheesecake. So Cheesecake Shop is the tenant wise is a very strong tenant, right? Now the property that you are looking, let's say there is the lease is only 6 months left. The market rent is below market rent right now, and also you're seeing the building is good condition or it's okay condition. The fact that it is a Cheesecake Shop, it says a lot about they are perhaps going to stay there for longer term. So that is something that you need to look into, right? If you can determine that the Cheesecake Shop is been there for the last 5-10 years and they have a good customer base, it is unlikely that they're going to move out, because even though they move out, there will be always another cake shop might be interested to take that because they have the customer base, they have this. Now Cheesecake has his own brand, I understand. For the another cake brand, they need to get into to that level, but still there are some traffic, there is some foot traffic, there are some customer base. They already know, people know that if I go there is a cake shop, so people will be going there to get cake. So with a Cheesecake Shop, the reason we want to buy that, once we know that for sure they are going to stay. So if you can determine who is the tenant and why they are going to stay there for long term, even though it's a short term lease, it's better buying that one. Versus if you buy a property where the tenant is wobbly, even though has a 2 years lease, 3 years lease, then there is a chance that after these 2 or 3 years, they're going to move out. So one of the key items that you always need to look into, who is the tenant and what do they do and why do you think that this tenant is going to continue there for a long term. And in our assessment, one of the cheesecake shop that we were doing, where we can see that this cheesecake shop will never move out. I mean, they are not going to move out. They have a good customer base, they're making money and they want to stay there. So they would sign another 5 years lease. And because the current lease is already coming to an end, if you calculate that your current rent is way below the market rent. So if you do the market review, after 6 months, the rent can go up significantly. And this is how you can buy a below market rate property, because everybody knows what a cap rate is. So just to give you an example, let's say if you're buying a property where right now the rent is 60,000 for this Cheesecake Shop, and with 6% return, let's say you're buying for $1 million. But for sure that Cheesecake is going to stay, and you also know based on the per square meter rate that this 60,000 is going to be, let's say, $80,000 or $75,000 after 6 months. So that means with the same 6% return, all of a sudden you're buying $1 million property that can be like $1.2 to $1.3 million. So within 6 months, you'll get 20 to 30% equity uplift. That is possible because of this new lease structure, because of that the tenant is going to take that further 5 years. And if you are smart, you can buy it and within a year you sign the new lease 5 years and you can on sell it and make couple of $100,000 profit. Now, this is the part of due diligence that you need to do when you're looking to buy a commercial property. And as I always say, that tenant is your number one thing. If the tenant is strong and if they are going to stay there, if you can determine they're going to stay there for next 5-10 years, then for sure you will be making money, and those are the kind of properties that you will be looking to buy. Even though the building has some issues, even though you see that there are some capital works that you need to spend, but tenant is the number one thing. If you understand that, you have got got a very important concept in commercial property investing. My name is Soumen Mondal, and through this channel, I help people to understand commercial property. My goal is to teach all this knowledge that I have and the properties that we are buying so that you can buy your first commercial property you have not bought, or maybe second or third or fourth, and you will one day write to me saying that Soumen, this video actually helped me to get into commercial. That's the day I'm waiting for. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.